Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Take Apart Engineering. Today we're going to be doing a project that we've done a while ago, and I wanted to put it back up here for everybody to take a look at and comment on what you think. It has to do with a PS5 controller and hooking it up where we made a controller system for a robot. So take a look, see what you think, like, comment, subscribe, and have a great day.
Is we want to assemble the whole thing. First of all, we're going to take our shield and we're going to very carefully insert our pins into our Arduino. Now that sounds like an easy process, but you have to make sure that you get everything all lined up. And you can use your finger to make sure everything is in place. Sometimes these pins will get bent a little bit one way or the other and make it a little harder to line things up. But you want to make sure that each pin goes into the corresponding female socket on the Arduino. And once you've double checked that, then you want to go back and just very gently slide the two of them together so that they become seated real well. So now, once we've got those two boards together, what we want to do is we want to insert our USB receiver. Now, I'm using a TrendNet micro Bluetooth USB adapter that I purchased on Amazon. Any basic USB adapter will work, and there are several out there on the market. It's, whichever you select. I just happen to use this one because I've used it before on other projects like the PS4 project we did last year. So we'll take that USB receiver and slide that into the USB port on our USB shield, which is now part of our Arduino. Okay, all said and done. Next, we've been using the USB host shield from SparkFun, and one of the things about this USB host shield that many of you probably already know, and if you don't, want to make sure you do know, is that the early versions of this board had a quote glitch in the board itself that was not a major, but in order to get the Bluetooth connectivity to work, you needed to take a small jumper wire and connect between the reset pin and pin 7 on the Arduino board. That corrected that wiring error on that board. SparkFun was very transparent about that. As soon as it became known to them, they put that out with the fix, which was great. If you don't connect that jumper, it'll look like everything should be connecting, but the connection between your USB Bluetooth receiver and whatever you're trying to connect via Bluetooth won't happen. But by connecting that wire, you make that connection possible. Now, the new versions of this board that are available on SparkFun's site, SparkFun has corrected this issue, and this jumper wire is not needed. But my version is an older version that I already had on hand, so I have to put that jumper wire in there. Now, if you purchase one of the newer ones and you still aren't getting connectivity, give this jumper setup a try, and if it works, then notify SparkFun that what you had to do. But the new versions, to my understanding, have been corrected, so that you shouldn't have that problem. But for my version that I have, it's something I'm going to need to do. Okay, so we've got USB receiver in, we've got our jumper set. Now, once we hook everything up, we're going to want to run some tests between our Arduino and our PlayStation controller to make sure everything is working. So to do that, I'm going to insert an LED into my board and then set up some code between or set up some code on the Arduino that will allow the PlayStation 5 controller to turn on this LED. I'm going to use a red LED. You can use whatever color you have on hand or whatever color suits you. But you want to take the LED, and there are two terminals, obviously, and there is a short terminal and there is a longer terminal. The short terminal also is indicated by a flat side on the case of the LED. The short terminal is your ground, and you're going to want to take your short terminal and plug it into ground on the board, and then take your long terminal and plug it into pin 6. And again, we're using that LED to test connectivity between the board and the PlayStation 5. Alright, so we've got our unit assembled. What we want to do now is take our USB connection to our computer and plug in, and you can see the power light comes on. Obviously I have my cable connected to my computer on the other end. Now, in order to code the Arduino, I'm using the Arduino IDE software, which is a free download from Arduino, and I'll put that link down in the comments section as well. Many of you are probably already familiar with that, but if you're not, it's a easy to use software that allows you to write code to the Arduino board in order to do whatever function it is you are trying to have your Arduino control. With this, we need to load software onto our Arduino board that will allow our USB shield and receiver to talk to our PlayStation 5 controller. To do that, we have to load a library into our Arduino software. Arduino uses libraries for specific devices in order to be able to connect to them. Luckily enough, the library for our Arduino and our USB shield was already created by Christian Lazarus several years ago. He originally created the library to connect the PS3 controller to an Arduino, and then updated it when the PS4s came out that would allow the PS4s to connect via Bluetooth to the Arduino board using a USB shield. That library for the USB shield / PlayStation controller, and also has availability for Xbox as well and Wii controllers. I will put the link for that down in the comments section. It is free software. Kristen developed it, and it's available for you to use. Kudos to Christian for that. What our goal here is that we want to make connectivity between our PlayStation and our Arduino. We're going to utilize this USB shield library to make that connection, and then as we develop our code for our PlayStation 5, if there are capabilities that the PlayStation 5 has that we cannot connect it to the Arduino, we'll identify that and pass that on to Christian, and maybe we can convince him to update the USB shield code to accommodate those things in the PS5. He's done a great job so far with the PS3, PS4, so I can't give kudos enough to him on the work that he's done. So we've got everything connected to our computer. We want to upload our code that we wrote in Arduino utilizing that USB shield software library, and that we downloaded, and what that's going to do when we upload that code, it's going to allow the USB shield and the receiver to look for and then pair to the PlayStation. As you guys know, with Bluetooth, you want to pair your devices so that they're connected. And this software that we're going to upload will do that. So we upload our software, and as we do that, we will then see the USB receiver. I'm not sure you can see that on your screen, but if you look very closely, you can see that the USB receiver is flashing, a blue light flashing inside of that receiver. That means that it's in pairing mode. It's ready for something to pair with it to connect. So we want to connect our PS5. To do that, we want to press down on the Create button, which on the PS3s and the PS4s, that Create button was called a Share button, but with the PS5s, they've changed the name to Create. So you want to hold down on the Create button and hold down on what everybody knows as the PS button. In this case, on the PS5 controller, it's the logo for PlayStation. Hold the two of them down, and when you do, you'll see that the PlayStation comes alive and begins to blink, meaning it's searching for that USB device. When it finds it, you can see that the blue LED on the PS5 goes solid, and we also have a solid light on the receiver. So the two of them have paired together. Now, that's great, but I want to make sure that I can do something with this PlayStation 5 when it's paired. Now you're going to notice that my PlayStation 5 controller just started to blink again, which means it dropped that Bluetooth connection, but then came back to a solid blue again when it found it. So now what we want to do is, the code that we uploaded already had a couple commands for the PlayStation 5 coded into it. I had coded the cross button and I'd coded the square button. When you press down on the cross button, wow, look at that, it lost connection. That's actually something that you need to be aware of, that if that happens, hit your reset button on your Arduino and then repair your device. If you hit your cross button, you'll notice that the LED comes on. If you hit, see, it went away again. So let's try it again. Let's reset. We're solid. Let's pair it. Turn on our LED, and when I hit the square, the button goes away. We're losing connection here. See, everything on video is not perfect, but we are connected here. Cross turns it on. Now the reason why it's going off is because I have my delay or my timer set on my software to only allow it to be on a certain length of time. If I wanted it to stay on permanently, then I would increase that delay. So let's reset it one more time. Pair, on, off. And don't be alarmed if there's a little bit of a hesitation between, because that Bluetooth connection can sometimes be laggy, and it may be because I've got such a short distance here. I'm trying to keep everything within the camera. So we've got our LED on, our LED off. So we know that via code our Bluetooth connection and our Arduino are talking to each other. Now, something else, you'll notice that my PS5 controller keeps dropping connection. Now, part of, or a correction for that, or a fix for that, whatever you want to call it, may be that my battery on my PS5 is low. It's been a couple days since I plugged this in to charge, so it may be that I need to charge my PS5 in order to keep a solid connection. That's something that I can check. Okay, so once I'm done with this, if I want to shut my PS5 off, again, I hit my PlayStation button, hold it down to shut it off. That won't drain the battery. But I obviously need to check the battery on this to make sure that I've got a good solid charge on it. Okay,